The playoffs. Playoffs, come on.
The Washington football team, probably the most improbable playoff team of 2020, kicks off the postseason taking on the Buccaneers, and let's dig right into some of the biggest battles you should pay attention to in this matchup, starting with the obvious, Tom Brady and the Bucs passing attack, which will face off with one of the top passing defenses in all of football this year.
Come on.
It's Teddy Bridgewater on the arm. It's popped up in the air, and it is intercepted by Cameron Curl.
Second fewest yards per game allowed, third lowest rating allowed, third lowest completion percentage allowed, third lowest yards per attempt allowed.
This young man is making a name for himself.
Washington also finished with the second most interceptions, and important in this matchup, they gave up the fewest passes of 20-plus yards this season.
Safety does a great job.
That sets up quite the battle with Tom Brady because he loved to air it out deep this year.
That's it. Hey, getting great protection. Hang in there, baby. You got it.
No QB had a higher intended air yards average than Brady this season, and in turn, they finished in the top 5 in completed passes of 20-plus yards.
Throws a deep ball downfield to Scotty Miller. Touchdown, Tampa Bay!
Boom, baby.
Brady ended up throwing 40 TD passes overall, the most he's thrown in a season since 2007 when he threw 50.
No risk it, no biscuit. And boy, the biscuit tastes really good.
He averaged close to 290 yards per game, put up a rating over 100.
Nice job, boys. Way to hang in there. All day, just like that.
He chose the Bucs this offseason for a reason, and a big reason he did was their wide receivers, who did not disappoint. Mike Evans becoming the first receiver in history with over 1,000 yards in each of his first 7 seasons, finding pay dirt 13 times along the way.
Looking deep again. Mike Evans, he gets the separation and the score.
Evans did hurt his knee last week, and it looked bad at first, but early reports indicate he may have avoided anything serious, and he could be ready to go this week.
And another touchdown.
Then there's Chris Godwin, who also would have topped 1,000 yards, save for missing 4 games with injuries.
That is a mismatch right from jump.
But Brady's embarrassment of riches doesn't end there. Antonio Brown landed in their laps mid-season, and he seemed to find his groove down the stretch, scoring 4 times in their last 3 games.
Antonio Brown spins into the end zone for a touchdown.
And finally, there's Gronk. Rob Gronkowski only had one 100-yard game this year, but he caught 7 TD passes and is capable of being Brady's go-to guy at any given moment.
Holy guacamole!
Got one.
The Buccaneers put up a lot of points behind that group, 3rd most in the NFL.
Great throw by Brady.
Can't throw that ball any better.
And their O-line played a big role in all that too. Top 5 ranking from PFF as they gave up the 4th fewest sacks in the league. Brady, one of the least pressured QBs this season.
He makes the catch. Touchdown, Tampa Bay!
And that sets up another monster matchup because Washington can bring the heat with the best of them.
Steps up, hit from behind. Chase Young knocked the ball out and recovers it.
The team finished 6th in sacks, and they have one of the youngest and most dynamic group of pass rushers in the game. Montez Sweat led the way in getting to the QB with 9 sacks.
You go backwards, and that's where Montez Sweat's going to end up.
And Chase Young ended his rookie year with 7.5 sacks, along with 4 forced fumbles and 3 fumble recoveries.
Look out. Hello, Chase Young.
Washington's ability to pressure the QB and contain passing attacks made them the 4th hardest team to score on, the 2nd hardest to move the ball against.
We good. We spotted them 10 last time we played them, didn't we?
And usually when you're that good on those 2 fronts, you're good on 3rd down and in the red zone, which Washington was.
He's got nowhere to go. Tackled behind the line of scrimmage, loss of 2.
Here again, you have a strength versus strength battle because the Bucs were 11th best on 3rd down and 7th at scoring TDs once inside the 20.
That's unguardable.
The X factor matchup when the Bucs have the ball shows up in the run game because Ronald Jones had a great year, over 5 yards a carry, close to a 1,000-yard season.
Rojo to the 40. Rojo to the 50.
Jones would have cracked the 1K barrier too. He just didn't get turned to all that often as only 3 teams ran the ball less than the Bucs.
You don't just take it, you give it, and that's what Ronald Jones did.
Washington played the run well enough, holding teams to 4.2 a carry.
Popped out by Chase Young, fumble, and Washington takes over.
However, no team played the run better than Tampa Bay did. 3.6 yards per carry allowed, fewest rush yards per game allowed. They draw Antonio Gibson in this one, and the rookie flashed plenty of promise throughout the year.
They will keep doing it until you stop it.
Gibson punched in 11 TDs, averaged a healthy 4.7 yards per carry.
That is Gibson, and he is gone.
A small red flag that pops up, though, his best games came against some of the weaker run defenses in the league. He had 2 100-yard games, both against the Cowboys, who had the worst run defense in football.
Up and all the way to the house. Santos' Antonio Gibson.
But running the ball wasn't really Washington's preferred way to travel, as they too were a pass-first team.
Cuts through a tackle at the 40.
What up, 17?
Alex Smith was one of 3 QBs to drive the Washington bus this year, and will be behind the wheel in this game. Smith played 8 games total. His personal numbers weren't great. 6 TDs, 8 interceptions. His rating not even cracking 80.
That is one unbelievable interception right there.
But the stat Washington fans care most about with Smith is his record. He was 5-1 on a 7-9 team.
Throws to the left sideline, has Thomas caught at the 5.
Their passing attack was built around 3 guys for the most part. Terry McLaurin building on his rookie year by going over 1,000 yards in his sophomore season.
What a difference Terry McLaurin makes to this offense.
Tight end Logan Thomas also emerged as a threat. Thomas leading the team in TD receptions while picking up over 70 catches.
Reaching up and making the grip.
And when all else failed, there was the security of J.D. McKissick out of the backfield.
Into the end zone, touchdown.
Now, Washington may have thrown more than they ran, but it still wasn't a strength for them. But stopping passing attacks wasn't a strength for the Bucs either.
Too many yards after contact. Too many yards after contact.
Rating allowed and yards per game allowed were subpar, and only 3 teams gave up a higher completion percentage than they did.
Tyreek Hill over the shoulder, 15-yard line, cuts it back inside. He backflips into the end zone.
However, they came up with plenty of splash plays against the pass, finishing tied for the 7th most interceptions.
And it's intercepted by Pierre Paul.
Those picks helped Tampa Bay hold teams to the 8th fewest points per game and the 6th fewest yards per game.
Woo! Boy, you about to fumble, boy. Hey, that ball up.
And so did their pass rush, tied for the 4th most sacks, 2nd most QB hits.
Yeah, he's gonna go down. He's sacked.
What makes their pass rush especially difficult to deal with is where the pressure comes from. You had Jason Pierre-Paul leading the team from his defensive end spot.
And sacked.
But Devin White had 9 sacks from his inside linebacker position.
I'm on your ass, boy. I'm telling you.
Then there was Shaq Barrett. He had 8 coming off the edge.
Barrett is somehow got him.
And Ndamukong Suh chipped in with 6 from the middle of the trenches.
A sack for Sue.
Holding them at bay will be a challenge for Washington's O-line, as only one team gave up more sacks than the team did this year.
You can feel the pressure now starting to have an impact.
So what does this all pencil out to for you? Sure, Washington made it into the dance while losing more games than it won, but guess what their record is now? The exact same as the Buccaneers, who I know most people will pick in this matchup, but there has to be a few Washington faithful who genuinely believe they can pull off the upset. Let's see all those predictions fill that comment section up. We will fill our graphic up with ours, and since it's playoffs, we've got a few extra to offer up.